Cosmos means a lot for me in my life, in my career, because I had a great moments in the 70s playing for the New York Cosmos. The atmosphere we created with soccer, at least in New York area, and I made a lot of friends here in New York, and I'm sure that we gave a great cooperation for the development of football and soccer in the United States. This is why I love New York City. I love the New York Cosmos, and I'm looking forward to come back to cooperate with the new New York Cosmos.
One of the most iconic images we've seen from the Cosmos in the past was when you were hugging Pele in his last game in 1977. We saw other great players like Franz Beckenbauer and Giorgio Canaglia play then. I believe that you guys led the way to really help create a movement in soccer in the United States. Do you think, Carlos, that the NASL, the New York Cosmos, need to bring in players of that stature again in order for the league to succeed?
I believe that we have to bring equality for the game. Can you imagine if you bring very good players, big stars, and that they don't have the results that we expect from them? So I believe, first of all, that we have to play with the quality, to play the beautiful game, to the people enjoy to watch the game and the New York Cosmos.
The season kicks off
this
on...
This is more important.
Yeah.
You see, for example, my team, Brazil national team today, we have very good players. We have big stars, young players, big stars, but the team doesn't play well. So people don't believe in our chance for the New York World Cup.
I read a quote from you actually recently where you said that you're not expecting this Brazil team to win the World Cup. And I'm sure, as you know, the pressure for a Brazilian player to play in a World Cup, but to add to being, in front of your own people, the media, on Brazilian soil, this is an insurmountable pressure almost for players, especially young players like Neymar. Do you think it's the quality of the players, Carlos, or do you think it's more the management? Obviously, bringing Scolari in is something that people feel hopefully will help Brazil to glory in 2014. Do you think it's players or coaching?
Well, we are in very critical situation with our national team because this is a new generation of football players. All of them are very young, 20, 21, 22 years old maximum. 2 or 3 more than 22 years old. But as a team, we cannot expect a lot from this group of players. They don't have international experience to play a big tournament like Olympic Games, the Copa America, American Cup, and also the most important, they don't have experience to play or to be participating in World Cup. So this is my feeling. Our team today, it's okay. It's not a bad team. It's a good team. You have a good players, but like I said, they don't have international experience. They're gonna get pressure to play Brazil. Brazilian people wait. They win the World Cup. This psychologically is not good for them, young players. But they're going to have experience to participate in 2014 World Cup, and then for 2018, and then I believe that Brazil will be the champion, but not next year. We never know. Maybe, who knows? Nobody can
anything can happen.
Say 1 year before that we are not going to be the champion. But if you think seriously, It's very difficult for us to anticipate the result and say Brazil is going to be champion. By today, I guarantee to you that we don't have a team to think to be champion of the world.
So with that said, Carlos, if you were the coach, would you bring in players for the World Cup like Ronaldinho, like Kaká, to add that experience, players who have played in Europe, players who have played in Champions League? Is that something you would do as a coach?
Well, depends. If they are in good moment, must to call them. Because the national team is a place for the best player at the moment, not what they did 2-3 years ago, or what we think they are going to be next year. The national team is the moment. If some players are playing well today, they deserve to be in the national team. If you're not, you have to think another player. So Ronaldo sometimes plays very well for his club, Atlético Mineiro, and he comes to the national team, he doesn't play well. Kaká the same. So I don't know what. I'm not the coach. If I'm the coach, I call all to play for the national team. Only the players that in the moment are playing well in their clubs.
Let's talk about Neymar for a moment, because the rumors continue about him signing for Barcelona. I think that Neymar has been sensational for Santos, but when he's been given the opportunity to play on the world stage, he hasn't really excelled the way we expect him to. He's such a huge talent. I worry about him being slight. Perhaps he needs to add more muscle to play in Europe. Can you see him being as successful in Europe as Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos, Romario? What is your assessment of Neymar and his talent?
Yes, he's a very good player. Right now, he's the best Brazilian player in activity in Brazil. But he's a young. He has a lot of things to learn. For example, to play, we talk to him all the time. He has to play more simple, because sometimes he takes the ball, holds the ball too much, and wastes the time, and he doesn't play for the team. He plays, I say 70-80% for himself. Mm-hmm. If he goes to Europe, the culture of European players is different of the Brazilian, because what Neymar does playing for Santos, he cannot do in Europe. He has to play for this team, like Messi, for example. We don't see Messi taking the ball and try to bring the ball to his house. He plays for the teammates. He plays for the team. But I believe if Neymar goes to play in Europe next year, in 2 or 3 years, he will be the best player in the world.
And he will be playing with the current best player in the world, in Messi. Of course, you've played with Pelé, the greatest perhaps ever, your good friend. We've seen players like Di Stefano, Cruyff, and of course Maradona. How do you fit Messi into the greatest players of all time? And do you think he has to win a World Cup to be called the greatest ever?
No, I don't think. Because, for example, we have good players in Brazil. I mention only one name. Zico, 2 names, Zico and Falcao. They didn't win the World Cup, and they are in the list of the best players ever. And Messi, in my opinion, today is the best one. After Pelé and Maradona, he's the best player I saw in my life.
Do you think that the 1982 Brazil team is the greatest team to never win the World Cup? One of my favorite games, of course, is the game against Italy. What an incredible game, 3-2. Everybody thought Brazil was going to win the World Cup that year. Do you think that they were as good as the 1970s side?
1982 was one of the best teams, the Brazilian national team. Very close to the 1970 team. But unfortunately, that day, Mr. Paulo Rossi decided to play, and he scored 3 goals, and they win Brazil. But Brazil 1982 was one of the best teams I saw in my life.
One of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. and I think for everybody, is the 1970 World Cup Brazil team. The most amazing team goal and the most amazing finish from you. Nilton Santos defined the fullback role. You defined the wingback role. Some people say that Pele's timing of his pass was perfection. I think your run and the timing of your run was perfection. At the time, Carlos, when you guys scored that goal, did you have any idea how it would go down in football history?
No, that time not. But let me tell you, in 1970, the final game against Italy, everything good happened for us. I had the luck to score the last goal. Pelé gave the pass to me. I thank Pelé until today, because until today people remember the way we construct the play to give the ball to Pelé and wait for me to come in from the right side and score the goal. After the 5 minutes after that goal, I go to the tribune as the captain to receive the trophy on behalf of my country, on behalf of my teammates, and everything good happened in a few minutes. Let's say maximum 20 minutes. Score goal, give the trophy, the happiness we know we gave to that moment to the Brazilian people, to the Mexican people. You remember they come to the field, they invade the field like Brazilians. Looks like the Mexican team was winning the Italian team. No, everything happened, and Pelé gave that pass to me, and I thank Pelé until today. He gave me a chance to score. The only goal I scored in 1970 was not normal defender score a goal that time. Today is normal. Any defender can score. But it was great for my life, for my career, and thanks God.
Do you think that 1970 team would beat the current Spanish team, the current champions? That would be a game I think the world would love to see.
No, I don't like it to compare any team or any player with another player. No. We had our time. Until today, people remember that team. Most of the people say the 1970 Brazilian national team was the best team ever. Today, Spain is the best team in the world, but not to compare with 1970. A great team, great players, but they don't have the guy called Pelé.
Just a few more questions here. Obviously, this interview is going out on TalkSport in the UK. You have so many fans, Carlos, in England. And I think one of the disappointing things for fans was that they didn't see you in the 1966 World Cup. It was a great year for English football, of course. What is your assessment of Bobby Moore? What made Bobby Moore so special?
Well, let's say Bob Moore was one of the best players I saw, and I was lucky to have him as my personal friend, and unfortunately, he left the ice. But besides Bob Moore, Gordon Banks, Bob Charlton, they had a very good player and very good team. They deserved to win the 1966 World Cup. And we Brazilians, we were very lucky to beat them in 1970 because that victory drive us to the final game. If you lose, for sure they'll be the champion.
Do you think that England could win a World Cup again?
I don't know. It's a very tough question because in my opinion, I don't know if I'm wrong or not, the English players, they must to have pride to play for the national team. They go to if you see them playing in their clubs, it's totally different. The spirit they bring to the English team.
Do you think David Beckham has been as good of an ambassador for the English game as Bobby Moore was?
Well, Yeah, David Beckham is a big name in the English football, and they deserve everything good for him. And as ambassador of the national team, and now I heard that he will be the ambassador for the Chinese Federation. I heard something about that, but he's a big name, and they deserve to be ambassador for England or for China. Not for Brazil, because Brazil have a lot of ambassadors. But David is a very big name, and he deserves.
More Brazilians are playing than ever in the Premier League, Carlos. David Luiz, Ramirez, Lucas Leiva, Rafael, Sandro. Do you think these are world-class players, in your opinion?
Well, they are young, except Ramirez. I think Ramirez is 26, 27. But the others, Ramirez, David Luiz, many Lucas, Rafael also, and Lucas play for Liverpool. They're still young, and they will have a chance to play for the Brazilian national team. They are very good players.
Your first game is on August the 3rd at Hofstra University versus Fort Lauderdale. Fans can buy tickets at NewYorkCosmos.com. That's nycosmos.com. What are you expecting from this season?
This season? Well, we are starting to play again, and we are talking to the people here in the New York area, and for sure I'm very confident that we're going to have the support from the people here in our area, New York. But we must have, like I said before, to bring people to the stadium, we must have quality. And this is what we are working for, to have a team with the high quality, to bring people to watch the team playing.
Before I let you go, just one more question. Do you think football is as good as it is today as it was when you were playing? And do you wish you were playing now, or are you happy to have played in the era you played?
Well, let's see. Football always is the same. Sometimes you have a good team, sometimes you don't have a good team, good names, good players. But the target of the new New York Cosmos is to give to the people, to our fans, the best of we can have in football. Good players, good quality, good staff. Our staff is very good, and this is what we scare to begin the new area in football in New York. For sure, you're going to have a good team, and for next year, of course, we're gonna try to have a much better team, and in 2 years, the best team in the area of football in New York.